Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've been looking ever since I got this Evader on levers. Obviously these are the stock levers. They're okay, they do the job, but they just don't look that great. They're so bland and plain, they're huge. And yeah, and ever since then I've been looking for levers. The only problem is that this is an electric motorcycle and there is no clutch. So it's literally 2 brake levers that I would need to get for this bike. I've been searching high and low, can't find anybody on these levers until recently. You know what? I was like, you know what? Been close to a year. It's been 11 months now since I got this bike. I was like, you know what? Let me check to see if I could find any levers. And long behold, guess what I find? Finally, some sporty levers for this bike. And it's not made by Venom Motorsports. Like you see Venom over here. It's not made by them. It's made by a different company. But these are the levers that we're going to be installing. You could see if I line it up here, it's not quite a shorty lever, but it's not quite as long as the original. But at least it adds some sporty look to it. As you can see, it has the holes on there. And I would say they look pretty good. And here's the other side. But let's go over to the bench and let's dive more into how these levers look and a little more details and everything on the lever. All right, we're back at the bench and here are the levers. Finally, like I said, I've been looking for levers to actually put on the Venom Motorsports Evader / E-Grom, and finally they're here. I decided to just go with black because I kind of just want to keep everything black and white on my bike. But if you have a different color one, I'll have a link down in the description of this one for some different colors. I think there's silver, black, of course, blue, and red are the really common ones. And yeah, so that'll be all below. Click on it if you want to look for some different levers or different color levers. All right, so let's dive into it on this one. So you can see here is, let's try to get some very close-up shots for you guys, especially I could do with this camera. This camera always just has issues with very close-up shots. But here it is. You can see right here. And I would say overall, I mean, they're not name brand levers, and they're not eBay levers. These are from Amazon, and I'm sure they're from China. That's for sure. But as far as 2 brake levers, you know, to be, you know, one from each, you know, opposite sides, not common here in the States. Then yeah, of course, you got your 6 settings. Adjust how close you want the lever to your handlebar. All right, not bad so far. All right, and then I know you guys are commenting down below on about the wiggleness of the lever. Let's check that out. So check the wiggle, and there is some play. I'm not gonna lie, there is some play on it, but I'm sure we could adjust that. And let me see if I were to pull this part of the springy part back, so I could do this with one hand, and you could see there is a lot of play right here. And actually it's because the bolt is not even tightened all the way down. So let's go ahead and tighten that down. You can see how so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it down, but I'm not gonna tighten down like to be super tight, just snug so there's not play on there. All right, so to do so, if you happen to have the same encounter, it's going to be an 8mm socket on this side and a 3mm Allen key on this side. Now I'm sure probably the other one's gonna be the same. Let me go ahead and pull this one back. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Pull this one back. Yeah, same thing. There's a lot of play on it, and I'm gonna go ahead and snug this nut over here. I'm curious about this piece over here on this part. Oops, sorry, that's a look in there. And on this part, there is not that much wiggle or play on that one. Let's see on this one. On this one, there is a little bit of play on this one. I might just go ahead and snug this bolt as well. All right, so guys, let me show you what I did over here. So here is the newer or updated what I just did. Now there is no more free play. What I did is I tightened this bolt a little bit more, and that eliminated that part, so there is no wiggle. You don't even hear any clicking. And then this part, you can see I put a small plastic spacer right in between this part and this part. I couldn't put one over here because there is a notch in here that only allows it to only go to here. So I just put one over here, and then I just tighten it up. Not extremely tight, because if you put it too tight, it won't be able to move, but just tight enough that this part still can move and adjust, as you could see. So here is the plastic that I used. Not exactly sure the size of it, as I just kind of found it. And I just decided to ream out the hole a little bit more. But let me go ahead and show you here. I got my 3mm Allen key here. Gonna put it right inside there. And then go ahead and loosen up the nut here. Also note the position of how you had this piece, because when you put it back, you may put it in backwards, and that's what happened to me. I had to refer to this one to see how how it's supposed to go in. So whatever side I would say, let's see. So you can see it's on number 6, and there's a smaller side and there's a much higher side. Just note that the position of where you have yours. Obviously number 6 is that higher side. So when I remove this guy, to remove it, you have to pull back on this to release it. And once you do that, you know, this part comes off, and then we're left with this guy right here. And now let me show you the piece that I'm talking about, if I could get it to focus at all. Well, anyhow, if you could see that little notch right here, that's why I couldn't put a space there, because of that notch right there. It's so hard to focus. There we go. So that little notch is actually going to correspond with this little groove right inside the metal. Right there, you can see it all. It focuses good there. So you can see that little notch goes inside there, which only allows it to go to here to here. If I already cut that out, then you pretty much could 360 spin that part, which we don't want. All right, so now that I got that part, I'm going to go ahead and put this piece back in, put it back at number 6, which where I had it. Flip it over. I'm going to hold it. Then I'm going to get my plastic. Well, let me make sure that this plastic piece can even fit in there, because I did drill it out a little bit. And yeah, it fits in there really good and snug up to that point. That's where we need it. Okay, put it back on the number 6 spot, which is right about there. Okay, hold that piece at the bottom, and again I have to like lift this part so I could allow this piece to go on there. Then just kind of push it on there. Then next we're going to put this piece, as we said, or I showed you earlier, that I was more on this high part, and you could see that it's actually cut in a certain way that, you know, it could only go in one way. All right, so now let's move this, get that on there as well, press it good, get the locking nut. It has a nylon end to it, so therefore it's gonna, you don't need any thread lock to actually put on here, because you can see that little nylon piece is actually gonna hold it in place very good. Okay, then I'm gonna put my tool on this end, then get my thing on this end, and again I'm just gonna snug tight it, not, you know, super tight it. Okay, yep, then just give it a test. I could already feel how much more, you know, snug this is, and it's not too insanely tight where I could still move this and then, you know, turn this as well. Go ahead and do this one. You could still feel the friction when you're turning it, but you know, it's not like very bad friction. That's what you want, to make sure that there's no slop. All right, so that pretty much fixes that. Now there is a little click because I did not adjust this piece right here, this nut. I didn't tighten it, so you could hear that noise. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that piece. Gonna get my 3mm there. Make sure this goes to the tightening, and then tighten this one. There we go. Now there is no more clackety noises. You can see how nice, and it still adjusts really good. All right, so that pretty much is it to actually making these levers much more premium. Again, they probably just came to the assembly line. They probably didn't really pay attention to actually, you know, tighten everything. They just, you know, put everything on and then ship them off. But at least now you guys know on how to actually fix that. All right, well, now that we got that part done, now I'm actually really excited. I want to get this on the bike ASAP. So let's go over to the e-Vader and let's get these installed. Okay, we're over at the left side handlebar. To remove the lever, what we need to do is we have to remove this nut. That's going to be with a 10mm socket. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And if you want, you could just hold that top piece. But yeah, so let's see, tightening, loosening. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and start loosening up that. All right, there we go. Let's get that bolt out. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of push that. Well, it should push up, I guess. All right, if not, you're going to have to get the open end part and start undoing it from the top. Okay, now you could see right here. Right about here, here's the bolt. So here is the bolt. We're gonna go ahead and pull this out, but make sure that you're careful with the plunger here, because that's the part that actually, you know, pushes in for the hydraulic for the brakes. And then on the other side over here, there is a little button, and that's what you know, gives the indicator for the brake lights to come on, which is right here. There's that little bar right here. There's a button here, so make sure that you're careful when removing that bolt. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it carefully, pull it out. Okay, and I'm just going to just bring it forward like this. All right, so now that we got this part out, now you can see what I'm talking about. Here is that tiny little button for the brake light switch. That when you press it, you could hear it. That's the electronic part for the brakes, and then you got your plunger part here for the hydraulic part. I figure let's do a comparison real quick. Here is our stock boring lever, and now here is our much anticipated, much more exciting lever. Right here, you can see the similarities right there. And you could see exactly that when I put it right up to here, I'm going to line it up. You can see it's just a shy short of being a full lever like this one. Like that. All right, so now that's that. We're going to go ahead and we are going to put a little bit of lithium grease right on the shaft. It's going to be a white lithium grease. Just going to go ahead and put a little bit on there, and then you could just smother it with your finger. There you go. Just put a little bit there and a little bit over there. And then just go ahead and just smother it over with your finger. We just want to make sure that this part is going to glide and move around smoothly on the lever. All right, now that we got that there. All right, now let's go over to the bike and install it. Okay, when putting the lever back on, you want to make sure that you're very careful, especially with that little tiny button that I showed you over here. You definitely don't want to, you know, damage that. So I would, you know, keep your finger over it to make sure that it's not going to damage it. Okay, once you slide that in over there, then you're gonna go ahead and grab your bolt and slide that through. Okay, I had to move the camera out of my way because I was having a hard time to put the bolt in, but now that I got the bolt in, I'm gonna go ahead and put the locking nut down at the bottom, and then we're just gonna go ahead and tighten it. But oh my God, what a transformation. All right, so that's that. Oh yeah. All right, I'm just gonna give it a little bit more tighter thing. This is gonna be a 10 millimeter on the top, 10 millimeter on the bottom. It's gonna just give it a little bit more of a snug fit or tightness. We're just gonna have to go mobile now because these levers are looking so good on the bike. This is how they're looking, and they feel pretty good. Let me go ahead and put my hand on my normal hand that would go for this side. Oh, they feel like much more meatier, like more thicker aluminum than the stock ones. They feel really good on the hand. Oh yeah. Do the adjustment all the way to number 6, which is pushes the lever further away. Number 1 brings it much more closer. So you set it to your personal preference. I like it at number 1. I like it much more closer because I don't want to have to like reach all the way out further out to grab the handle. And it's feeling really good. I like the way it feels on my hand. Compared to the stock one, which is right here. And this one I have to like reach all the way out here to grab it. And it just, you can see how wobbly they are. And they feel really skinny. I feel like I'm grabbing someone's bones or something, like very like a twig almost. And on this one again, nope, it's not moving anymore because we did tighten up everything over there, and they just feel much better. All right, so now that we got this one on, let's go ahead and remove it and do the same thing with that side. It's going to be the same process, so I'm not really going to show you that side. It's the same thing. Just remove that bolt over here at the bottom, which is really right over here. So here is the bolt that you're going to remove. So remove the bolt, take this out, grease the pin or the shaft of this, and then, you know, reinstall your lever. So, and since it's the same type of lever, you know, just, you know, they're both brake levers, so it's going to be the same process. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You guys do the same. Alrighty, now this one is already set and done, and look at how much better that looks. Oh boy, just a relief in my voice. You could hear it. These levers are looking really good. Now just imagine if I had like a blue Evader or your red one or whatever other color, and I had matching levers for that, it would look so good. But for this one, I just wanted to keep it, like I said, a simple black and white because that's the theme I'm going for over here. But other than that, looking super good. Love them already. Let's check out this side. As you can see, really good. And they feel super good on my hand when I'm pressing on the lever or grabbing the lever. just feel better. I mean, like I said, the other one just feel like I was grabbing a twig, and they were so wobbly. Again, I have it from setting number 1 closest to the lever. You set it to however you feel comfortable with. But even if I have it to number 6, look at this. That's number 6. It doesn't go that much more further out, and I still could, a little bit more of a further reach, but still doable. But I'll go back to number 1. There we go. Alright guys, well that pretty much concludes the video on how to install these somewhat of a shorty lever. Not really shorty, but still a goodie, but just aftermarket levers in general. Looking nice design. I think this is like the standard for design for all kinds of levers these days. But anyhow, yep. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please smash that like button. But if you hated the video, smash the dislike. Let me know down below what you didn't like about the video to help me improve for future ones. I try to make it a really short video. That's why when it's something that's going to be the same, done the same from one side than from the other, I try not to record the other side, because obviously it's going to be the same installation or removal of that part. So that's why I just record only the one side. So yeah, nice levers. I'll have a link down on this video, so look for it in the description box. So I'll have a link for these particular levers along with different colors. So if you do have a different color bike, or maybe you want just a different accent color for yours, you'll be able to select it. And the price on these levers are not that bad. They were a little wobbly at the beginning, but just because the bolts and everything were very loose, again, probably just from the factory line, they're just putting it together, not really paying attention for, that everything's on there. As long as the bolts are on there, that's all they care about. But we were able to manage to fix it and improve it and make the levers much more, where they don't, wobble or whatever. As you could see, they're pretty good. Same with this one. I almost forgot. While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That way you guys are up to date with any of my uploads. And also, if you know anyone else that has the evator, because these are 2 brake levers, not a clutch and a brake lever. So if you know anyone else that has a Venom Motorsports evator, let me get a side shot for you guys so you guys can see the bike in its entirety. So anyone else who has an evator like mine, like this one, please share this video. They may not know that they could actually swap out those boring levers. For all they know, they're going to be stuck with these, and maybe they want something sporty. They may not know about these type of levers that you could buy for this bike. So make sure you share this video so they could get rid of these bony stock ones and get something that's going to feel nice and exciting and actually fit the spec of this bike. All right, guys, that's all I got for you guys. Don't want to make it too long. Catch you guys on the next one.